Super Sunday started with a surprise result. Palace beat Brighton 3-1 away from home and dented Brighton's early season push for European places. And that game set us up nicely for the Manchester derby. Neither team in any form, and in derbies, form often goes out the window. So you think maybe this is the game that City will start to turn their season around? But it was Manchester United with their first statement win under new manager Ruben Amorim, and it was done in truly dramatic fashion. Look, the team news was leaked the day before the game, which would have had Amorim fuming as he had a few tricks up his sleeve. And when the team news did arrive, it was the same leaked lineup, but with Rashford and Garnacho left out of the squad completely. It was a bold decision, a talking point for the media, which they just lapped up. And if things went south, they already had a stick to beat Amorim with. But this decision was something that I rated. It shows that the manager has both his eyes open about the squad at his disposal, and he wants to do things his own way. Now, what that change did was bring the impressive Amad Diallo to the right number 10 position instead of the wing-back shifts that he has been doing, and Mason Mount was on the left-hand side, but his evening lasted just 12 minutes as he picked up yet another damaging injury. Another interesting personnel change that he made was bringing in Harry Maguire to the centre of the back three with Martinez and De Ligt on either side. Pep, on the other hand, went with the tried and trusted, putting faith in the guys despite their struggles. We saw Foden and De Bruyne just behind Haaland. He persisted with the back three of Walker, Diaz and Guardiola, and it was the Croatian Guardiola who gave City the lead in the 36th minute. It was a short corner routine that did not go according to plan. You could see it from Pep's reaction from the sidelines that he was not happy with how the goal was scored, but it was a fantastic header from Guardiola, timing his jump perfectly off that deflected cross and directing his header past a motionless Onana. His fourth of the season in the league, just behind Haaland in the goal scoring charts for City, and there you have one of the big problems for City. But on the other side, the defensive mistakes that City are making, they are individual in nature, but it has spread throughout the backline. Against Feyenoord, Edison came flying out in stoppage time and it was 3-2. That penalty they conceded against Liverpool in their 2-0 loss was schoolboy stuff, and this is just on the top of my head. And against Manchester United, it's 1-0, 5 minutes to go. After Bruno Fernandes chipped a 1v1 wide, Mateus Nunes does what he does. Barring that Bruno miss, and that was in the 80th minute, both teams were really struggling going forward. Neither Haaland nor Højlund got any opportunity to put their foot through it. It was cagey, it was nervy, and you could see that Pep just wanted to seal the points. He was ready to bring on John Stones to close the game out, and then Nunes. First with that back pass that he hit short under no pressure, and when it looked like the chance had gone with Amad showing composure not to shoot but to chop and wait, Nunes had a complete head loss. He barges into Amad and it's a stonewall pen. The reaction from Nunes in the box and Stones and Pep on the sidelines told the entire story. Pep knows that his team is going through a period where they are mentally fragile. By that I mean, at the first point of adversity, it is a domino effect and you cannot stop it. Bruno Fernandes makes no mistake from the spot and atones for his previous miss, but that domino effect was not completed with the pen. There was a late dagger in store. City, I think they just retreated into their shell, looking to just cling on to the point. A defeat would be catastrophic considering how that match has played out. You saw Lisandro Martinez, he picked up the ball at the halfway line under no pressure. He spotted Amad, who made that run from out to in, and he just pings the ball forward. Nobody reacts for City. Amad gets there first, but the way he dealt with that was simply outstanding. It was, for the lack of better term, drenched in composure, if you know what I mean. I mean, the first touch to lift it over Edison and then the calm side foot past two on-rushing defenders. It is delirium. It's utter madness, as I saw Ruben Amorim really celebrating a goal for the first time since he's been at the club. There were big performances from the likes of Mazraoui and Ahmad on the right. Ahmad in particular, every time he picked up the ball, he looked electric. But a special shout out to Harry Maguire, who was drafted in out of the blue in a marquee fixture and was imperious against Haaland. Top performance from the centre half. The points were United's and deservedly so. They hung in there, they worked hard and restricted City to very little. And when the opportunity arose, they hit City when it mattered. The decision to leave out Rashford and Garnacho was completely justified as that game demanded discipline from the United players. Look, when you make bold decisions against the grain and it goes your way, you earn a lot of extra rope, not just with the hierarchy but with the supporters as well, to make more ruthless decisions going forward. And let's face it, that's exactly what needs to happen at Old Trafford. Despite their heady win, after the match week 16, United have just moved from 13th to 13th. And as for City, even in their worst run of form since Pep has been there, they're just 3 points off third place Arsenal. It's not that bad, but it is bad considering they have won just one win in 11 in all competitions. They were 55 games unbeaten at the Etihad coming into November this year. That 4-0 thrashing from Spurs came out of the blue and now compounded by throwing away a lead at the end against Manchester United. How quickly things change in the Premier League. And after the derby, there was no time to relax because there were pressing matters to resolve. The hate watch is all complete and it was Chelsea taking on Brentford at home. On the face of it, a routine win, right? Chelsea 4 wins on the trot in the league in second place. Brentford's away form this season has been wretched. 7 losses and a draw for Thomas Frank. But last year, I can't forget that they beat us 2-0 at the Bridge in April and October, if I remember correctly. And I'll never forget that 4-1 trouncing out of nowhere against Tuchel's Chelsea in 2022. So no one was really breathing easy here. And to add to Brentford's success at the Bridge, all the title aspiring teams dropped points this weekend, and that put extra pressure on Chelsea to grab all 3 points. Liverpool and Arsenal inexplicably drew at home to Fulham and Everton, and City lost more ground in their faint hopes to make it 5 Prems in a row. This was the first time really that Chelsea were missing a whole host of options on the bench. It has been one of our strong suits in the season, having like a plethora of options and quality coming off the bench when the situation demands it. But there was no Fofana, Lavia, Neto, Felix or Mudryk. But the starting 11 was well balanced. Tosin got his first start in the Prem at Stamford Bridge as Malo Gusto came in at right back. In terms of control and playing on the front foot, Chelsea were ticking all the boxes. Brentford in their 5-3-2 block were limiting clear-cut opportunities. As time ticked on in that first half, it was feeling very slow. The anxiety was kicking in. But in terms of limiting Brentford to opportunities on the break, Chelsea did very well. Barring that excellent block by Levi Colwyn of Damsgaard, pretty much all the action was happening in the Brentford half. But we were lacking that clinical edge in that first half, and credit to Brentford rather for making it difficult. But just 2 minutes before halftime, we had an unlikely goal scorer in an unlikely fashion. Madueke's in-swinger into the box was met by Cucurella's diving header, and what a quality header that was. That cross was exquisite between both centre halves, and it was Cucurella who stole into that space and cushioned the header past a diving Flecken, and it was 1-0 at the break. Comfortable, but still on a knife's edge. But look at Cucurella, man. He has become such an important piece in the Maresca puzzle. His mentality after going through a tough 18-month period at the club is simply top, and it epitomizes Chelsea's resurgence. But 15 minutes into the second half, again it was cagey, it was tight. Brentford never make it easy, but it should have been 2-0 and game over. But brilliant work by Jadon Sancho on the left to beat a couple of players and laid across to Jackson, who wasn't expecting it, let's face it, looking at his body shape and anticipation, but it was a massive opportunity to settle the game and a poor miss optically. But 72 minutes or 72 minutes in, it was all Chelsea. I felt we had 65% of the ball, 20 shots to Brentford's 2, but Brentford were not threatening up until the point, but Chelsea's inability to kill the game off left the door open for Thomas Frank to make some in-game adjustments, and he used substitutions. Just before he made the triple sub, Norgard had a side foot volley saved brilliantly by Rob Sanchez, and Jackson had a chance from outside the box where he was looking to curl in a peach towards the top corner, but saved out the fingertips of Fleck, and both keepers making big time saves. And then that triple sub was made to immediate impact. Well, almost, because Ayer's low cross to Fabio Carvalho was destined for the roof of the net, but the crossbar saved us and the ball bounces away from the goal line. My goodness, the anxiety was through the roof. But 3 minutes later, in the 80th minute, we got the cushion. But it all comes from Caicedo winning the ball when he had no right to do so. Caicedo wins the ball, gives it to Enzo, who nicely passes it into the channel for Jackson, who ran at Ethan Pinnock and thrashed it from outside the box. A devastating finish to make it 2-0 and give Jackson his 9th goal in the league. But with Chelsea, it's never straightforward, is it? Brentford pulling a goal back in the 90th minute, courtesy of Brian Mbeumo, to set up the most nervous of 7 minutes of stoppage time this season. But stoppage time was navigated without any scares, but you could see at the full-time whistle what it meant to the players, the fans, and Maresca's reaction told the whole story. It's 5 wins in 5 in the Prem as Chelsea motor along nicely, just 2 points behind league leaders Liverpool, with Liverpool having a game in hand, and it's 4 and 7 points ahead of Arsenal and City respectively. A quite remarkable turnaround in 2024 for Chelsea, as this time last season Chelsea were 10th or 12th in the league, and Maresca is not just proving his doubters wrong, but he is exceeding expectations heading into the busy Christmas period. Next up, we entertain Shamrock Rovers from Ireland at the Bridge in the Conference League before we resume pressing matters in the league with Everton away at the Goodison, yet another bogey ground for Chelsea.